Having trouble with your garage door? Problem solved. Call Direct Service Overhead Garage Door Company. We're your go-to team for garage door repair, new garage doors, openers, and more. We offer same-day service. We're always ready when you need us. Best of all, you can book your appointment online or talk to a live operator 24/7. No machines, no waiting. So whether it's a broken spring or a brand new garage door, trust the local experts at Direct Service Garage Doors. Call us today or visit directserviceoverhead.com.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome. It is Tusk Talk with Ty post game live show. Hope you guys are having a good weekend. I know this was not well. This certainly isn't what you want to happen on a weekend that you want to be. By the way, it's freezing cold outside. It's been awfully cold. Really. This game was something that could have been. It looked like it was steering towards Auburn 2.0, didn't it? It looked like we were heading towards. Oh boy, this is gonna be a 20+ point loss. It's gonna get ugly, and it didn't. And some things, some good things happened, and then it just followed up by a bunch of bad things. Not a bunch of bad things, but a couple bad things. All right, welcome. Like, share, subscribe. You know what to do. Hit the notification button, please. Hit the notification button, please, if you haven't already. We are 3-4 this year for Saturday games, says Bryce Langley. It sounds right. And I don't know, man. Saturdays just have cursed Arkansas this year, it feels like. Ewan has to play 30-plus minutes a game from now on. He can't split minutes with potato chip anymore. Oh man, you remember when Pringle, you can get the cylinder Pringle. You can get those for like $1.20 at Walmart. What the hell happened to that? Oh, I know, a little thing called inflation. Yeah. So shout out to Patreon supporters. The scroll I messed up. I accidentally uploaded the wrong scroll. I'll play it. It's still going to say November on the scroll. I apologize for that. I uploaded the wrong one. I thought I got the new one in there. I'll fix that hopefully before Monday. My wife, however, she's going to be out of town for a little while, so it's just going to be me solo in the Hudson ship for about 8 days. So I'm going to be playing a lot of catch up again this weekend. So I might be a little bit behind on some of the stuff. We've had a lot of activity in the transfer portal. We know it's if you're going to put your name in the portal, you can't do it. It's too late. So we're going to get caught up on that. I don't know why this camera looks like it's a little lobby there. All right. Shout out to Direct Service Overhead the Garage Door Company. Same day services, quality parts, affordable outcomes, better than the best results. 501-244-3667. Again, that's Direct Service Overhead the Garage Door Company. Quality parts, free estimates. All up in Central Arkansas. So if you've got some issues with your door, your garage door, give them a call. You could always check out the link, and we've also got them on their Discord page as well in our Tusk Talk with Ty Discord. I don't know, man. This certainly looked like it was going to get really ugly. I don't know what to say anymore with the way first off, you allow Georgia to go on this disgusting run to start this thing. I mean, they were on a 19-3 run to start this ball game. 19-3 run. These slow starts are ridiculous. Now, it is about how you close, and this game is the definition about how you close. Once again, we have another game where you feel like, I mean, this was a little bit unorthodox because they were trailing by a large number. I said this a while back, several weeks ago. I said, I don't know if this is the kind of team, I don't think they are, that can trail at any point in the game by 16 or more and then fight back and find a way to win it. Now, to be fair, There's a lot of teams that are like that. There's a lot of teams that that run into March Madness and do just fine despite not having that ability. It's all about matchups and you know, kind of where you're at heading into March as a team. Right now, listen, we have to make something perfectly clear. And I saw people in Discord saying this, that Arkansas wasn't going to go on a March run. They're not going to make they're going to be lucky to make the tournament, or if they get into the tournament. I don't think there's an if. I think they're getting in. The question right now is just, and it will be all season, is where at in terms of seeding and what's that going to look like? What bracket are you in? But you can't look at a game like this and say, oh, well, yeah, see, they're not good enough to go on a run in March. That could be true, but it has nothing to do with losing on the road in a game that got competitive in a true SEC road game. That's hard to do, man. It's hard to do. It's hard to win on the SEC. Now, I say that. We had some wins today on the road. Arkansas does have to get this figured out. Their defense again, they're giving up 90 points. And Georgia's, they say they're the best scoring offense in the country. They certainly look like it today, but we all knew that this was going to happen. Like, we knew they were going to give up 88, 90 points. I mean, we knew that was probably going to happen with how poor they've been on defense. And the thing is Georgia flipped the script, and they ran. It looked like you were playing Arkansas. And Arkansas just didn't have an answer for it because they don't go to a deep 9, 10-man rotation. They go to an 8-man rotation, which is exactly what they did. They don't feel like comfortable enough to put in the 9th. Who would that be, right? Sealy? I don't know. I mean, these are the things that you question. You got to love, though, that they were down. What was the largest? They were trailing by, what was it, like 18? 18, 20. It was, we were doing a live wheel spins during the game. For every 3 that Arkansas made, we'd do a spin. So I think they trailed at one point. I think it was 18 or 20 points. You got to love that they fought back, tied it up. But then at that point, it's about how you close that game out. How you close the game out. Can you survive your own, that run you went on? Do you have the stamina? Do you have a 9th option to help you get there, to help you cross the finish line? And they don't. And they didn't. I mean, Arkansas, we were counting. In the first half, you had guys drenched in sweat with their hands on their knees. Again, and it's still that much more impressive that they were able to come back and make it a ball game, but they still lost by double digits. They lost by 14 points. Georgia gives up like 78, 77 points a game. I kind of thought Arkansas would be in the 80-plus point category. I never felt comfortable. This is why I picked Arkansas to lose this game in the predictions. I didn't feel comfortable about this game. It ended a little bit worse than I thought it would. It's certainly there in the middle. Like I said, this looked like it was going to be Auburn 2.0. I didn't think it would get that ugly. Fortunately, Arkansas was able to kind of rebound and like I said, tie the game. Again, make sure you guys are sharing, please. God, share. Share the stream and feel free to, take the poll. The poll that we have up is, will Arkansas win versus an SEC ranked team on the road? And it is 50-50 right now. It is 50-50. 49-51. 51% saying no. So that's going to go back and forth for a little bit. So take that poll, all right? Our big suck Pringle can't catch a pass or hold on to the damn ball to save his life. He had some handle issues, but he wasn't the only one. Garbage, play someone else. Christopher, I hear what you're saying. A couple of those passes, though, he was not like they were ill-advised passes. And Pringle at that moment wasn't looking for the ball. And it was, I think one of those was from Acuff. Acuff did not play he didn't bring. He did score 20 points. He scored right at his average or above it off 16 shots, though, right? 7 of 16. He was perfect at the free throw line. My God, he had 6 assists with 6 boards. But he had 4 turnovers. And a lot of ill-advised passing from Acuff. He did not look like the dominant self, even though he scored 20 points, which is kind of weird to say. He still played a good game, played a hell of a game. Anytime you're scoring 20 points on the road in a hostile environment, but you got to turn the turnovers, got to turn those down. Got to turn the volume down on the turnovers. Yeah. Just some uninspiring basketball there in the first half that really set them up. When you trail by that much and you got to spend all that energy, effort, drawing up different plays, coming out of timeouts and inbounds plays, and, trying to, Georgia was pressing a little bit in this game. Like it really just was like this is the thing I will say. I don't know. I think Georgia's better than Auburn. In fact, I do believe Georgia's better than Auburn. They punched you in the mouth, and Arkansas against I say far better. I mean, Auburn's still a legitimate top 30, top 25 scoring offense in the country, playing a more difficult schedule than Georgia, which is why I paused to say if Georgia's better or not. I think Georgia's better because I don't think Georgia's mid. I think they're probably a step or two above mid. They're a pretty good team. They're going to be difficult to beat on the road. But you survived the punch to the face, unlike what you did against Auburn. Against Auburn, you took a punch to the face and never got back up. And the refs were letting these two teams play ball. Both teams took the same amount of free throw shots. Georgia probably did. I mean, I'll say this. Cyril should have had probably a couple more fouls going into the final minutes. There were a couple of breakaway plays where I thought maybe a Georgia defender probably should have picked up a foul there on that last play or inside, what was it, like 3 minutes when Knox was running away with the ball. There was clearly contact made as he crossed the half court. No call. And that play ended up being a miss at the rim anyways, but there should have been a call there. But, whatever, you're kind of grasping at straws. This was not about officiating. This was just, the inability to close out a tough game on the road. They are going to need to win one or two of these games on the road and win out at home. And who do you have playing in Bud Walton Arena? You got Vanderbilt coming to town. Vanderbilt, who did lose today. They lost to Florida. I think Vandy knows, like, we're not going to go on a losing streak here. And I think Vandy's good enough to avoid that, but we're gonna talk about that game on Monday night. I'm actually pretty excited about talk about Vandy and Arkansas. The good news is Arkansas is damn tough inside Bud Walton Arena. They are one of the better home teams, not just in the SEC, but I think in the country inside Bud Walton Arena this year. So that's the good news. Georgia just had more bodies. They had more stamina. They had a game plan. They took Arkansas off their what they were used to. And they racked up 11 blocks. You beat them on the boards. I mean, if you'd have told me, you ended up with 43 rebounds plus 8 in that category compared to Georgia. Georgia with 35, 13 assists, and 16 offensive rebounds. I would have said, okay, Arkansas either won this close or barely lost. And that's not what happened. Again, it felt like Georgia. This is a weird game. It feels like you actually did lose by 20-plus points, but then you did have that nice run in the second half that really threw Georgia off, and some good defensive stops, some good defensive effort. I'm with you guys on Pringle. I don't understand how a guy gets 19 minutes. If you want to start him, okay, fine. How is he earning 19 minutes? Now, I do know Knox had picked up a couple of fouls and Malik Ewan had picked up a couple of fouls in the first half. I still don't know. I mean, I know you had to have some size to deal with what Georgia was doing with Cyril and those guys inside. And Pringle was fighting. I'll give him that. He was fighting, but he was losing a lot of battles. It felt like to me. 2 rebounds, 3 turnovers. He had as many turnovers as he did points. 1 block, 1 offensive rebound. 2 total boards. I'm impressed with the 1 foul. I mean, my God. Like I said, they were really letting these guys play, and if you need any evidence, just look at Pringle's lack of fouls. 3 points and 3 turnovers. Well, what are we doing? How did he earn almost 20 minutes on the floor? And eventually Malik Ewan would, he really, the end of that game, he, got into some serious foul trouble. We know if you play with 2 fouls in the first half, that's not going to happen, especially with Cal. You're not going to play with 2 fouls in the opening half, especially with one of his bigs. And that's probably where you could start. You could probably look at as well. You can't have that happen. If you're going to beat Georgia, you can't have that happen. Ewan did not need to pick up those 2 fouls. I don't know what the hell happened. It seemed like Brazil lost a lot of minutes, and I don't know if I missed something. Brazil ended up with 25 minutes, but he had no fouls. If someone knows something I don't, maybe you're listening to the radio. I don't know why he didn't play more. Was it just the matchup on the floor? Because it kind of felt like this was a game, especially when you need to get hot outside. He took 1 3. He was 0 for 1 outside, and we didn't see him again, really. I don't understand that. This was a game where you need to crack them open shooting with whatever outside look you had. Now, I did see him pass up. I think he passed up like 2 open shots from outside. Maybe that's what Cal saw, and he thought, no, we can't have that. You got to take that look. For him to be a contested shot, like you've got to be on Brazil for it to actually be a real contested shot with that wingspan that he has and how high up he can approach the shot with how high up he shoots. Acuff did have, again, scored 20 points. He was, however, 7 of 16. He would finally hit. He would go 2 of 7 outside. He was perfect at the free throw line, and he had 6 assists with 6 rebounds. Acuff did, and it felt like there for a minute, like he's going to have to. He will, and they said it on the call. He's going to have to take this game over. But you did have Billy Richmond. Billy Richmond played some outstanding basketball. For the most part. Now, again, him and Acuff had 8 turnovers between the two of them. So I can't say outstanding. I got to take that back. He played some really good ball, high effort. That block he had on Cyril was I loved it. I loved every second of that. Again, let's take a look here. Will Arkansas win versus an SEC-ranked opponent on the road this season? 52% of you say yes. And right now, who is your next ranked opponent? Of course, this could change by the time you get to them, right? Alabama, February 18th. At Florida, February 28th, I would imagine would be ranked. So you've got at least 1 or 2 more opportunities there for a good Q1 win on the road. Ty, we are not a road team, says Charles Harper. We don't have the toughness. I don't disagree with that. Or the physicality to rebound in crucial situations. We will win out at home. Oh, well, okay. All right. This will be a problem for all SEC teams on the road. Yeah. Florida is killing it right now. You're getting some SEC teams starting to turn it around, and that's the concern that you have. It looked like this conference was wide freaking open. It looked like this conference was wide open for a second. For like a good 2 weeks maybe. Or 2 weeks. At least 3 or 4 games into the year. Or not even just that. Looking at what they did non-con and then looking at their entrance into conference play. And yet what happened, like they're starting to win, right? Vandy did. So Florida won on the road. Alabama won on the road. Kentucky won on the road. Arkansas didn't. Now, I guess the question is how good is Georgia compared to these teams that lost at home? How good is Georgia versus Tennessee? How good is Oklahoma to Georgia? Vanderbilt. Now, I think Vanderbilt's better than Georgia, but maybe Vanderbilt's starting to get exposed a little bit. And we know there's some other, they've had some injuries off and on and whatever. But that was a great road win. Is Florida starting to figure it out? Right, and you do have to play them in Gainesville, and I've said all along, like, you never know. You're not supposed to pick these games so far out. But Arkansas's history there, and it looks like, Florida is starting to look really good. They've lost 1 of their last 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold on, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 games. They're riding a 4-game win streak. They beat the hell out of Georgia. That was at home, 92-77. They beat the hell out of Tennessee at home, even worse, 91-67. They went to Oklahoma and they won. And they went to Vanderbilt And they beat Oklahoma by a lot, too, 96-79 on the road. And they went to Vanderbilt and had a knockout, drag-out game against Vandy. I'm telling y'all, Vandy's good. Vandy is good. They did a really good job against a red-hot Florida team. And this is why I've said I have a hard time taking Florida out of my top 3, top 4. I just can't do it in the SEC. Vanderbilt, we're gonna find out a lot about where both these teams are at. It sucks that that's a Tuesday night game at 8 p.m. I plan on doing a post game for that. That would be a huge W for Arkansas, and that probably will tell you just kind of what to expect at home from that point forward. Because I don't know outside of Vandy, who's your next? Who's the next? Who's tougher than Vandy inside Bud Walton Arena? I don't think Kentucky is. Again, Kentucky got a good win today. So when you look at the rest of Arkansas' schedule, who's better than Vandy inside Bud Walton that you have left? This game, again, it's going to tell you a lot. And we know teams shift and change as the season unfolds, but you've got Auburn at home again. You got Missouri. Missouri is one of those teams you just don't want to take your eye off of for too long. A&M, who is currently 3-1 in conference play. I think Vandy's gonna tell you what to expect from and maybe not. Maybe if Vandy comes in and they just really are that good, right? They really are way better than even what I think they are, and they come in here and they beat you by a little. Again, I'm not saying that's going to happen. Maybe it doesn't tell you anything else. Maybe that just says that maybe it says more about Vanderbilt than it does Arkansas. But yeah, these kind of games you got to win, man. You got to find a way to eke out one of these wins. I love that they fought back. I love that Arkansas found a way to fight back and make this a competitive matchup because it was looking really gross for a little bit there. Hey, guys, make sure, again, you like, share, hit the subscribe button. We do have an XP, the post live chat XP. That's going to be literally what the poll is asking you. Will Arkansas win versus an SEC ranked team on the road? I want you to answer that with who that team is going to be, who you think Arkansas is going to be. And it doesn't have to be a ranked team necessarily, just a really tough road game. And they're all tough, really. But you know what I mean? One of the tougher teams on the road. Obviously, I don't think LSU is going to be I don't think LSU would be a team that you would put down. I don't think Mississippi State would be one, right? But you tell me, Oklahoma, I think is salty. Oklahoma's a salty team, but they wouldn't qualify either, though. They're 1-4 in conference play. It is on the road, though. It is in Norman. Like I said, I want you to answer that question. So that would be really at. I think you could argue maybe Missouri would be a tough road game, but I want you to answer that question, and that's for XP. That's going to be for 5,000 XP after the show is done with when we're done here. Looked unstoppable a couple of days ago, and then come out playing like absolute dog shit. Richard, you got to consider where they played. First off. You do have to consider they were in Athens. They had to go to Georgia. And then, I mean, you're not wrong. They do look different on the road. They do look different in true road games, but that's the truth for a lot of teams. You know how every time we play somebody, it's like their national championship game against us. They have the best games. Boy, it does feel that way sometimes, doesn't it? It does. Yeah. Is this has Georgia scored 90 in an SEC game? Actually, I was thinking about that. Yeah, that's right. They scored. Yeah, they did. They scored 104 on Auburn. Okay, so this is their and then they scored 95 on Ole Miss. So at least you didn't give up. I guess you're not the most points they scored on, right? I still just wish. I really wish Arkansas could get this thing figured out on the defensive end of the floor. Guys, that is the concern. When I caught so much hell over saying that Arkansas had a problem, Arkansas could be in some trouble, it's on the defensive end of the floor. And then you saw what happened today when they can't find a way to get in rhythm on offense, when they can't get fluid on offense. You saw what happened. They trail by 20 or more points this year. When they can't get it figured out on offense, they look like dog shit. because they don't have a defense, that could get some straight up stops. Just straight up back to back to back, great stops on defense. Now, again, I love some of the aggression around the rim. That's what's wild. It was just a weird game because there were times Arkansas did a pretty good job on the defensive end of the floor. There were some pretty good stops. But for the most part, the defense is still booty. It's like we're celebrating, I don't know, it wasn't even a mediocre performance by the defense today. Yeah, you got some good stops. You got in rhythm. You went on that, what was it, like a 10-0 run or whatever there in the second half. And that has to help from defense, forcing turnovers. But then your offense would turn around and just play like dog shit. They cannot afford these slow runs. You know why? And we talked about this under Musselman too. I remember this. And it's the same thing. Because then you got to spend all your energy, your stamina, trying to go up and down the floor. You're changing things on defense. Maybe you're going with a more aggressive full court press. You have to speed the game up. And with this tiny rotation, I say tiny, smaller rotation that Arkansas plays with, it's what Cal wants to do. He wants an 8-man rotation. When you spend all that energy trying to make up those points and make it a ball game and maybe tie it, get it close so you can get yourself in a position where maybe the game comes down to, instead of it already being over, where you're trailing 18 points with 3 minutes left to go in the game or whatever, where then maybe it's a final few possessions kind of game. Well, then you're worn out. You're gassed. Hell, they were gassed in the first half. You cannot afford these slow starts on the road. At home, you can kind of make up for it a little bit. You get a little bit of help. You get that sixth man inside Bud Walton Arena, thanks to the crowd, especially in big games. But they don't have that ninth guy in that rotation. They don't have, a 10 or 11th guy that can give you at least 4 or 5 minutes rest on the floor, which equals to 10 minutes rest on the bench. They don't have that. So you just can't afford to trail. You can't give up those kind of runs like they did tonight. 19-3 run, and they gassed themselves because they had to come out and play, even faster. Higher energy, better effort. They were gassed. They were already gassed. Fortunately, not all teams are built the same. But Georgia is a really good offense. They look tonight against one of the worst defenses in the SEC. They looked every bit the part. I think with Arkansas, with the schedule that Arkansas played, they would not be the number one scoring offense in the country, but they'd still be really high. They would still be really high. It was disappointing to see that happen again tonight, though. It really was. It was disappointing to see them trail. But then again, they fought back. They tied it. I think they tied it, twice, right? But then Georgia was able to hit them right back in the face. Arkansas was gassed. Pringle is getting on my damn nerves. That dude is horrible, says James. I just don't know how he's earning the minutes he's getting. I don't know. Again, I know it's a matchup thing, and you had Ewan with a couple of fouls. Again, I don't know what happened to Brazil tonight. I'm hoping we get an answer from Coach Cal about that. I really thought Acuff was going to be breaker. Okay. A drought breaker. But he wasn't, again, Auburn or Georgia. Well, I mean, again, he had 20 points. I mean, he can feed guys. It doesn't always have to necessarily be him scoring. We just let people get in the ring. Well, yeah, Gunny, I agree. I've complained about I've complained about the post presence of this team all year long. It's non-existent. What did Pooh say? Arkansas 2-point. Okay, here we go. Pooh's giving us some facts here. Arkansas's 2-point defense now ranks 377th in the is that? I mean, I know it's bad. 377th in the nation, allowing almost 60%, 59.6 from the field. Our defense is one of the worst in the country. Listen, I'm not saying that I guess you did the research. I don't know if there's one of those analytical websites posted that on X or something. I don't know, but I would believe that it's one of the worst in P4. I mean, it's bad, you guys. It's bad. There's just a lack of presence. There's guys, you saw Ewan tonight a couple of times get frustrated because he didn't have help underneath, giving up an easy 2 points. It's just bad. And that is what concerns me about this team's ability. Like, they're going to have to fix this. They're going to have to fix what's happening with their post presence because they don't have one. They don't have a post presence. Pringle is the only one I know that can have three points, 2 rebounds, 5 missed dunks, was it 5 missed dunks? 8 turnovers, and still play 20 minutes. I'm telling you guys, I don't understand it. I think it had something to do with Brazil not being on the floor, and obviously Ewan with a couple of fouls. I don't know. The good news is the game isn't going to ruin our season. Cal is a good coach. I still have faith. Yeah, and I'm not telling anybody to lose faith. Ralph is going to be in my post chat. He's going to be in the post comments telling me how negative I am. You know what? Yeah, I'm sorry. Apparently he likes to blame Arkansas YouTubers for why I don't know, for all the problems that the Razorbacks have. It's always our fault. I don't know. Does he go into do you guys see? Look for Ralph in those post live chats. He might even be in here waiting to fire off one of those paragraph long complaints about me. Yeah, where was Brazil? Yeah, I asked that a second ago, Richard. Turn the volume up. Did you hear me? I asked that a second ago. What's going on, Richard? Someone tell me what's going on with Brazil. Better get defense fixed, says Mike Phipps. Could not agree more. Again, make sure you guys share the content. Sharing is caring. Group chat, if you're in one, send the link, baby. Send the link. Fire them off. And then make sure you hit the hype button after the live show. Hit the hype button. I don't know what the hell it does, but apparently you need to hit it. I'm definitely not calling you negative. Appreciate that, Steven. But I do think Pringle was the worst pickup this season. Kyle, I don't know that I could disagree with you right now. It's so frustrating. I can understand if you're going to bring him on the floor to maybe, I don't know, play a little bit more physical and absorb some of the fouls, to get some of the foul calls that would otherwise go to Ewan or Brazil or Knox. I can understand that. But even when Brazil is on the floor, we're seeing this guy get way too many minutes. Brazil was out there a lot, but they didn't have no offense because he was getting a lot of defensive rebounds. Yeah, no, but he only played, James, the point that we're making is he only played 25 minutes. He's generally like a 30-plus minute guy, if not more. So, I don't know. Maybe they were arresting him. He wasn't in foul trouble. And I kind of thought in a game like this, especially where you really want to empty them out inside. You really want to knock down some threes. You want a guy like Brazil who stretches the inside out, who stretches the floor out a little bit, who can knock down threes. Just the threat of him shooting those balls, they're going to have to peel off and deal with him and try and give him contested looks. And I felt like this was a game where he probably should have played 32, 33, 34 minutes, if not more. Acuff got 39 tonight. Malik got 30. That's expected. Kind of thought Brazil would be in the 30-plus minute club. And I think the argument really is that why was Pringle on the floor when you have Brazil? And, yeah, Ewan in the second half he had 2 fouls in the first half, but kind of felt like Ewan probably, should have gotten some more minutes. Again, he fouled out, but he fouled out with when did he foul out? Like inside 2 minutes, right? The game was already out of reach. And the same thing with, I know people are kind of all over Knox, but Knox still had 7 rebounds, 8 points tonight. You could kind of run a different look with those guys and take Pringle off the floor. That's the argument that I'm making. He got 25 minutes. This was the kind of game, talking about Brazil, this is the kind of game I kind of thought he needed to be in the 35-minute mark. Maybe he was tired, and he certainly, they were all exhausted. Maybe that's what it was. But I'm not sure I've ever recall him being benched or him not getting the minutes because he was tired. I don't know that I could ever recall that. So I don't know. Again, Acuff went off for 20. He hit above his average, which he's right at 19 points a game. 6 rebounds, 6 assists. But again, the 4 turnovers, the 8 turnovers between him and Richmond, that was the other thing. Just some of the lazy, like some of the passing was just a head scratcher tonight. 18 turnovers, guys. Not good. All right. Well, we're gonna end it here. Appreciate everyone. Remember the post live comment or question, right, for the comment section. Will Arkansas win versus an SEC ranked opponent on the road? It doesn't have to be a ranked opponent. It can be a tough opponent who's just not ranked, and there are a couple of those on Arkansas's schedule. So we'll have to wait and see. We're going to end the poll here. Again, make sure you like, share, subscribe on your way out. Shout out to, again, Patreon supporters. The Patreon roll says November. Ignore that. It's the wrong one, but we're still going to roll it. We're still going to roll the Patreon names. All right. I'll see you guys on Monday for Monday Night Lights. I'm assuming I'm going live Monday. I'm supposed to drop my wife off at the airport at like 3. So I don't know. We may have to change the time, but just hit the notification bell. Make sure you like, share, subscribe on your way out. And I will see you guys on what happened? Did that just play? That was weird. I'll see you guys on Monday. It's hopefully 6:30. All right. Be good.